Welcome back, everybody, to the E3 podcast, where we encourage, we educate, and empower other female entrepreneurs. And so today we have my friend Andresa on.
Hi there.
So I'm excited because Andresa, she's a good friend of mine, and she is one of the co-founders, I guess, of the Invest Her community.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, doing awesome things for women in real estate. That's kind of how we met. So can you tell everybody just a little bit about you and what you've been up to?
Yes, absolutely. So ultimately what I do, I'm a real estate developer, and I have experience building new construction, full gut jobs, and I am involved in both residential and commercial construction. So that's part of my life. The other part is the real estate investor community, where my business partner Liz Faircloth and I really are. Our mission is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life through real estate. We do believe that real estate can be a tool for women in different circumstances to reach the financial freedom and then do whatever they want to do with that. It's not about the money, but what you're going to do with the money. So we have been building our community. We started with a podcast where we interview women about their journey, their mindset, and how they became successful. And we have a Facebook group too. It's called My Board Members. We have very successful and experienced women there that just jump in and gracefully share their knowledge. And 25 plus, don't quote me on the numbers, 25 plus meetups around the country where women get together in person to really support one another. Right now, in the midst of the pandemic, we all converted that to online virtual webinars. So we have constant free content and education to really support women out there.
And I love the Investor Group. And actually, me and another friend of mine that's a real estate investor running the San Antonio group, and it's going really well. We launched our group right at the beginning of the pandemic thing, so we haven't even got to meet.
How cool is that? Perfect timing to launch. Well, and that's what we always say, like, we love Texas, and that's one state that we really get a lot of people from Texas, from San Antonio to Houston, to certain different areas. And we were thinking about, like, we need to go there in person and really create like a regional. We did a virtual summit with more than 200 people, and was an entire day with presenters that I want to hear from them myself. It was really cool to see, how we can exchange information. So that's how our movement is evolving as we grow.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about what you're doing and what is a challenge that you're facing right now with either their construction or the investor meeting groups.
You want alphabetical order?
We'll see how much time we have.
Exactly, right? It's just like different areas, different projects, but it's all good. Top of my list right now, we're developing our membership, our investor membership. A lot of women came to us and said, okay, what's next? Tell me what do I need next? Because I really they talked about a couple of things. Number one is a roadmap. They wanted to understand. And instead of like, okay, I have this entire thing here, I'm overwhelmed, I'm paralyzed, I'm not doing anything, I'm out. Mm-hmm. So we created a roadmap for women that they can do a self-assessment, understand where they're at and what they need to do in order to get towards financial freedom. And we added different content to really teach women about mindset, business, and also self-care, which is so important.
That is important.
Another piece that y'all combine, it affects how women is confident about running and investing in real estate. So we want to attack that piece there. And we were able to put together what we are calling pods, which is a mix of getting the knowledge for a specific subject and accountability. Some without accountability is just, I don't see it going forward, unless you're like really high motivated at all times, which I don't know any human being, right? So we need each other. So we created that. We created all the content for the couple of months. The challenge that we're facing right now, we had a big one that we kind of like overpassed. So we created the platform. We were working with a consultant, and she built everything on a platform that at the end of the day was not tech friendly for us. We really needed something that will get the job done with the quality that we want, but we also want, okay, if shit hits the fan, which will happen several times, right? We just hope that is not like every hour. We are able to really jump in, get the tech support that we need in order to do that. So we actually shut down that part and recreated everything under a platform called Kajabi. And we have been building there. Now the challenge that we're facing, there are a couple of like, I don't code. I learned how the platform works and I don't code. So I need to reach out to somebody to find specialists that can go around. But most important for us is, Liz and I were talking, it's like, okay, we built this, what we believe is such a good content. But if we don't get to people, none of that matters.
Right.
So we're really discussing now our launch plan.
Okay.
What do we need to do? Like the pre-launch, pre-launch, beta test launch, soft launch. There's so many launches and strategies to do it. So at the same time that we are overwhelmed also with that part, we want to make sure that we give ourselves time to share with others what is this, because if we don't market it properly and convey the message to women, all our work is just not there because it's not going to reach them. So we are really committed that our message gets to them. So that's my challenge, the marketing piece, the launching piece for the membership.
Okay. So far you've had them, they built it all on a platform that you guys can use. And so then you had it rebuilt again on another platform that's more user friendly.
Yes, I rebuilt it. I learned the platform and I rebuilt it. Not that I want to be a tech savvy person, but I really needed to understand if that was something that I could work with.
So tell me a little bit about what is included in the member site. Is all the content arranged in there in any particular way, or is it like kind of walk me through sort of what that looks like? I'm assuming they have to have a login, right?
Yes, they should have a login, and we have 2 tiers of memberships. So the tier 1, which is, it's more for a lot of people that just want to get started, and those folks are going to have a lot of things on demand that they can watch. Liz and I are going to be having office hours once a month, and also a mastermind, so they can get acclimated to how a mastermind works, how live events work. And then the higher tier is going to have more live access and the mentorship, not just with me and Liz. We're out of the picture on that. We have what we call pods, and each pod will have a specific mentor there. Okay. And the courses are going to take 6 months. So there's a curriculum to be followed.
Okay.
Both of the tiers, we have what we call 4 stages, which is the stages where each woman is right now. So it goes from not having any deal to becoming financially free. So in each stage, we're going to give a drop of knowledge or or something, a tool, an exercise geared to the stage that each person is every single month. So it's a drop of knowledge. So nobody feels overwhelmed. For everybody, we created what we call the foundation piece, which is really to get everybody on the same page. It doesn't matter if, you know, somebody already started and somebody that never bought a house. We do think that understanding your why, having your financials in place, all of that is the foundation for everything. So everybody's going to get that. But once you do the assessment and you identify which of the 4 stages you are in, you're going to get information specifically for the stage that you are in. So you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to watch all of these videos and
Yeah,
you know?
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
for the intake, so it's a form that they're filling out.
yes, it's what we call self-assessment.
Okay.
To really understand where they are.
Okay. So they're doing the assessment, and then what are the criteria? Or do you have like set criteria? Like how are you determining who goes where?
Yeah. So for example, the number 1 stage is, have you bought your first investment property? Not primary, but your investment property. If the answer is no, guess what? You're on the first stage. If the answer is yeah, you already purchased at least 1 to 5, great. You learn a lot of lessons, but you're gonna go over here on stage 2. And then we do certain same different criteria for those stages. Have you done your SOPs? Yes, no. Okay, no. So you stay over here. The last one is the financial freedom, which means your income exceeds your expenses and you can stop working if you want to. But then the journey doesn't stop there, right? We want to, okay, now it's time to work on your core genius. What is this all about? You reach financial freedom. Now what? So we work on that part. So each person is going to be focusing on what is the next step for them. Keeping in mind, of course, their goals and their vision.
Right. Okay. And I like that. I like that whole, and I know we kind of talked about that before about dividing people up and feeding them the content that they need for wherever they're at in the journey, because I think that's important. I think like, especially in real estate, you know, like there's so much stuff out there and it's easy to get really overwhelmed with all the content and just like start taking stuff in. And then before you know it, like you're taking in things that you might not necessarily need. So being able to keep them focused on where they're at in the journey, I think is smart.
Absolutely. And one thing that I really like, I'm biased with this new thing that we're creating. It's called a master class. So during master class, we're going to have experts like you, for example, that we're going to have them to teach all the members a skill set. Not the exit strategy about how do you wholesale, how do you rehab a house. That you can Google it and you can have it. But the skill set, the art of building rapport, of really negotiating with the other person feeling uncomfortable or you feeling uncomfortable, how to get really like the skill set. Because if we believe that getting the skill set, it doesn't matter what exit strategy you choose, that can be used so many times.
Right.
Nobody can take that from you.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. So that's for everybody.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so so really what you're trying to figure out, I guess, is sort of like a launch plan and how you're going to market this to people. Like how are you going to find people, like tap new audiences maybe?
Yes, we definitely want to tap new audiences, especially with COVID. I think that, you know, it's hard to say, but sometimes COVID is a blessing in a lot of people's lives because, you know, I never thought one day that I got fired from a job that I had when I was in college. That was horrible at that time. Thank God they fired me, because otherwise I wouldn't have found other things that I really wanted to do. And I think that a lot of people right now have the time to really think do I want to go back to that job? Or is it time, really time? Time is what we have. Never know when things are going to turn around. So we have a lot of people reevaluating what they really want to do in their lives. And
Right.
the time is now. I think that the market will provide a lot of opportunities coming up. And I think we just need to get ready for the opportunity when it comes. So a lot of realtors also, that it's funny to think about it, but a lot of realtors that I know, the Liz knows, we went to a conference with more than 500 realtors. The amount of people that do invest in real estate is so small. I was shocked, and we asked them like, why? And their answer was like, I'm not confident about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, you are in this industry, in you want to take advantage of it because you have so much to bring to the table. So realtors, women who are in corporate jobs, or also women who invest, who are in finance, engineers, they're like really straight with the numbers. Not necessarily they want to be real estate investors, they want to take advantage of investing in real estate passively. So we want to
Right.
get the word out there, for everybody. But they want to get those ladies are like, they don't want to invest in something that they don't understand.
Right.
I think that women wants to understand. Let me understand. I work very hard for my money. Not that men doesn't, but woman wants to understand very clearly. But without getting off chart here, our avatar are women like Liz and I, that who invest in real estate, already made a decision. It's not women that are thinking about making a decision in investing in real estate. We already made the decision. This
Mm-hmm.
is it. We're going to invest in real estate. We might be married, might be not, on our 30s, and we want to take this to the next level. Those are our avatar, and women that struggle with self-care.
Because we all do. I mean, really, I feel like every woman I talk to, we all have the same kind of like thing, where we're kind of like fighting with ourselves about, being confident. And then like, I know a lot of people I talk to, especially when they're first getting started, it's that whole like they'll overeducate, not take any action. And I think, I think you're right on target with like bringing them in and having them separated so that, because it all starts with mindset. I
Yeah.
feel like, and so if you can kind of cross that hurdle, then you can start getting into more of like the educational pieces of it, like what you need right now for what you want to do. Because that's the other thing. There's so many different things in real estate. And when you were talking, it made me think like, it's not just, realtors, women realtors that want to be investors, but it's also maybe like there's women out there that could be private money lenders,
Totally.
stuff like that. And they just don't know how to go about like even getting started with something
No,
like that.
they don't know. And one thing that I shared during our summit is that um it's even like scared the hell of me to say it, but we're doing it. We're doing it. So I am putting together a group of core women that I really like and trust, and we're going to buy apartment complex from A to Z. We want to be the ones underwriting it, and we want to be the ones negotiating it, doing the inspection at the property, evaluating every single thing from A to Z, and we're going to document that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to raise the capital too. I want to see the whole thing, and really to we don't need to prove anybody that we can do it. I just haven't seen it, a project being done by women, and how would we evaluate things differently, and how will be our returns, how we will manage that asset differently, what are the things that we're going to see as improvements. Maybe a playground will be better than something else, because we see the needs of a playground and apartment complex, because we see the kids but we don't see a playground,
Right.
a different eye. I'm just curious to see if we're gonna played this game differently, and I'm very excited about it.
So with you saying that, so that gives me an idea, right? So we're
Yeah.
talking about getting the message out, talking to people, the marketing. I see that as a great opportunity for a whole marketing campaign built around that. You know how many people
Right?
attract with something like that? If you turn that into like a weekly series or something would be how I kind of see it, to
Yes.
where um you're breaking everything down, you're going through like very specifically and like getting all this stuff on video and actually talking about what you're doing
Yeah.
as you're doing it. But I think that women would love to see that.
Yeah.
Like
So
that
that's the
part of your funnel for bringing people in to everything else, because you've got like your pods, right? So
yes.
it would be cool to incorporate like the people from your pods for whatever state it is, if you're in the negotiation state or if you're in the marketing state or if you're in the rehabbing state of this apartment complex, like bringing those people in actively participating in all of this, but then like you said, documenting this and like putting it out there for people to like actually follow along in with the journey, because then you are not only like you're doing a deal, so that's great, right? But then you're also breaking out these pieces that can be used for more content and education.
Totally, right? It's just like a fountain of content every way
Yeah.
around. If it goes right, great. If it goes bad, even better. No.
It doesn't matter.
Right? It doesn't matter.
It won't, because there's like so many opportunities to teach and learn.
Yeah, I see that, for example, when it goes wrong in terms of, okay, we did some due diligence here, but look, the numbers here are all off.
Yeah.
Not the real thing. So how do you deal with it? How do you deal with challenges? How do you evaluate, or how do you, I don't know, how do you vet property management companies? I think that it's a vast content for all the way around, wherever you look for skill set, and not just real estate as well. But what will be our questions? What will be, because I think that a lot of women, our confidence comes from also seeing other women executing.
Right.
It feels like osmosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's doing, I'm confident too now.
Yeah. Well,
right?
if you're doing it with other people, there's that safety net too, where people might otherwise be afraid to do it themselves. But when you're working with some other experienced people, smart people, I'm sure you're going to vet them really well who you choose to do this.
Yes.
Because you don't want to deals go
No,
bad.
yeah, no, it's just like a couple, 4 or 5 that people that I admire then, and I know their their values and where they stand for in the world. And I think that we all bring a lot to the table, and our personalities really mesh together. I think that women will feel very comfortable with
I think so too. And I think just them seeing you go through all this with somebody, like bringing somebody through, and then they feel like they're kind of part of that journey too, and telling that story, like make sure that story gets told in the marketing too.
Yes.
Kind of digging into like each person and like what's their piece of this and what is their take on what just happened. And I just see like so much content.
Yes. A funny thing though, in my old life, my other life, I was a journalist, and I work for a TV company in Brazil, and we did a documentary in Cuba. We did documentaries, different areas, and I thought, like a couple of months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. What a waste of time that I was editing videos or writing scripts, really understanding how to tell a story, right, with the documentary and everything. And then it hit me like a rock. Everything that we're doing now moving forward has to do with telling the story,
right?
and recording it, and really going a little bit our way of telling this story. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the skill set. Now I got it. Now I got it. Why?
That's why you had that job.
Now I'm like connecting the dots. Okay, gotcha.
No. So the other thing is, and I know we kind of talked about this maybe a little bit before, but in order to do all this, because launching anything, especially a member site like that, like I know you guys have a big following and stuff already. So I think like tapping into your current network, what's there, like really getting people, you know, that's a lot of times that is like the best, easiest, cheapest thing of marketing is just when you have other people that are advocating for you.
Yeah.
You know, because they love what you're doing so much and they believe in it so much that they end up doing a lot of your marketing for you because they're talking about it. They're sharing what they've learned with other people and where all this stuff is coming from. And so I think, you know, like reminding people too, you know, to like get out there and like share this if you like it. You know, it's so,
Yeah.
sounds so like to say it, you know, and I hate doing it too, but you know, but I mean, definitely like the way to frame it, you know, is like, if you got value from this, please share it.
Absolutely. And we always
You know?
say, you know, when we ask people to really share, is because I won't be able to reach that woman that you probably know, but I don't, you know, so share with her if it was valuable for you, share with her. And we've been very blessed to have those core people on our corner. And I love when I hear, I was in a conference a couple of months ago, really months ago, right prior to COVID. And I heard somebody telling about the investor community. And those are the words that came out of her mouth. Yeah, this is our community, like our ownership. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. It's her community too, because
Yeah.
people really take ownership. This is our community. Let me tell you, what do we stand for? It was a man asking if he could come. And we said, yeah, you can, of course, but let me tell you what we stand for. Okay, so we are on the same page. Yeah. So it was cool to say it. You know, a lot of people say, oh, call it a movement, a tribe. You know, you can call everything that you want because it's yours too. So we always we feel very grateful to have those women that really have our back.
Yeah. Well, and they feel like they belong, like they feel like they're part of something. And I think that is really like a testament to what a great job that you and Liz have done, just bringing people into the fold and making them feel welcome and making like people feel heard, I think too. In the group. I mean, I've been in there for a while now and people are always willing to help each other out and answer questions and just be very supportive. I don't think I've ever seen anything where anyone got ugly or anything.
No. And that's
what you're attracting, right?
Yes,
You're
that's the
attracting
beauty. That's the beauty of it. When we started the group, Liz and I were like, how the hell are we going to have time to answer everybody's questions? And then if we don't answer, come on, why are we building this? We're like, Liz, well, it might have another answer because I know people build those communities. So at the beginning, we were answering every single question. But as you grow, you have leaders, and we don't want to be experts in everything. We are not experts in everything. But you start just seeing people really stepping up and support one another, and you just watch. And sometimes I just go there and I was like, damn, this is so good. And I just want to say thank you for that. Or just go there and say, yes, what she said. You know,
yeah,
all of it, because I'm so grateful for it. And I get the support that I need. And I see it like Liz and I, when we started, we were like, where can we get the support that we need?
mm-hmm.
And we feel heard by other women that are going through the same thing, right? Not that men doesn't go through struggles, but it's different. If I ask you, how were you able to rehab your property once you just had your kid and you were breastfeeding? How did you do it? It's legit. It's so legit.
Well, it's something we all have experienced. And so I think having that place. So I think too, like with the marketing, I think talking a lot about like you and Liz's story too, kind of getting out there and, you know, telling how you guys met, like, why did you start this? What do you hope to accomplish here? And like, that is the thing, you know, that you're talking about all the time. And people, they pick up on that and then they start to, you know, get curious and then they want to go find it. But I think, like,
it would be so cool though to do like if I meet Liz and we walk around and we tell our stories, and again it divides in so many different topics and content that we can break down in different things, but having those conversations that trigger like how did we meet? There was a very funny story. How did we meet? Why are we doing this?
Right. And I think that's part of your marketing too. You know, it's not just telling the story about what you're talking about, what you're doing, but it's telling the story behind all that, because that's your why.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's just as an important piece of the story that needs to be in the marketing too. So I think that, and then my biggest thing that I think that you guys need, you need a dedicated social media person.
Yes, we do. We do.
This thing I see could be so big, but like you can't manage that yourself because there's so many moving pieces to all this. If you've got a membership site and you've got content that needs to be created and distributed over multiple platforms, that requires somebody that at least has a skill, at least in content distribution. Like I know you guys can create your own content, but having somebody that can break that content apart and distribute it for you is going to be super important.
I totally agree with you. And I think that Liz and I, everything that we do, right, we take a step back and see, is this the best use of our time and ability and skills? And do we enjoy doing it? Right. Sometimes, you know, it's a matter of, and the answer is very clear. No. All right. So step out and what's that?
We never have time for all that.
Yeah. So the answer is no. Right. But somehow our brains is like, I'll work it out. I will make it work. As we grow our community, and we have been learning that we get to the point that we can't. We couldn't edit our podcast no longer. We couldn't update our website. It's just no way.
Well, and a good person too is going to be able to take the content that you have and do all kind of different things with it. Like you squeeze so much. You can take one piece of content. So like I know when I'm creating content with my media person, like we'll shoot videos all day. And from those videos, he can squeeze a month of content out of one day of videos.
Oh my gosh, can he go to Pennsylvania? We pay him lunch. He can stay on our Airbnb and we can shoot all day. Yes. That'll be awesome and fun. Like this is so much fun. We'll fly you to Melissa so we can just have dinner together and have fun.
Yeah, and he's great. I love working with him, but having somebody like that on my team, because like I will never sit down and make a video on my own because I get so nervous. Like he probably has the funniest stories about me before we shoot video or something. You know, I'm doing all these weird things, like is my face normal and just being weird and have to start like 20 times and stuff.
Oh gosh, yes.
Sees because I'm like a nervous freaking wreck every single time. I'm like, I thought this got easier, but it doesn't seem to really be getting any easier.
You seem so calm.
Yeah,
so he has the magic wand with you.
I don't know. Maybe he does something with that editing, but it's just
he clicks on the calm button, like calm.
Always. But it's great, like to know that you're doing something, like you just do your little piece and then somebody's taking that piece and they're dealing with it. You know, they're pulling out quotes and doing like a quote post. They're pulling pieces of the video and putting it on LinkedIn. And here's another piece that goes on Instagram. Here's another piece that goes on my personal Facebook business page. Like, I could never sit down and do that myself. And it's just me. I don't even have near the following that you guys have. So I can't even imagine, like, there's so much gold to be mined just on your current, what you have right now, just in the group that can be mined for content. And then, you know, any video, like shooting videos, like going through this whole process, the A to Z, you know, there's a huge opportunity for content there. You've already created content for your membership site. So that can be pieced off too. I think would be good just for you to have somebody that can do it, because you've got all the stuff. You just need somebody to take all those puzzle pieces and put them together and then send them out again in different ways.
Yes. And in a time fashion that we're like, okay, this is the plan for the next, I don't know, 6 months. Here is the plan. I'm always looking at that piece, the marketing piece, as a rehab project, right? It's not that I want to know, like, but I want to have a very clear understanding, visually understanding of what's going to happen when, so I can track is this working? Is not working? Where do we need to tweak things around? I'm all about that. I think we need to focus on the things that are working. Oh, okay, this video here got more views.
Then you do more of it. If it's working, you're like, okay, some more of that. People like that.
Because then I'm doing
until you put it out there.
Yeah, because then we think we have a very good understanding of what people want, right? So I think that we just want to confirm that, because if a video that we thought, oh, this should perform very well and is actually not, well, so that is a important data for us, because people don't want to hear that. They want to hear more about that. Look at the amount of comments. So I think I love that.
Where it's going to, and that's another a good media person. They're going to be able to look at all those analytics.
Yeah.
Tell you, okay, well, we posted that same video on LinkedIn and on Instagram. We got nothing on LinkedIn, but it blew up on Instagram. Same thing, but it's all about like the different platforms, like who are you reaching, what platforms, so they should know, you know, where your audience is, and then you start testing out potential new platforms to reach more people and testing that out.
Absolutely.
You know, and then if a platform is performing better than another, then you know that you're onto something there. If not, then it needs to go somewhere else maybe, or that just wasn't good content.
Exactly. We heard great things about Pinterest, and I have personal account on Pinterest, but never business, right? So we were like curious about it. Should we spend our time into it? Should we not? So it's always like, okay, but it can't be us.
Yeah.
It can be us. We should try different things, but we are at the point that we need to have somebody like that for sure.
Yeah, I think having a professional that's really knows, their understanding, like what you're trying to do, and then where that needs to go, and what message that you're sending out, kind of helped you craft that message a little bit more. And then, you know, tracking everything too, because they should be able to report back to you how things are going. I think one other thing to just touch on real quick too is like determining that funnel. You know, the funnel is like everything. So knowing, okay, I've got a newbie. What's the funnel for this person to get them down? Like what do you want the ending landing spot for them to be?
Sure.
You know,
and make it as simple and as clear as possible for them to navigate. Because it irritates the crap of me when there's like so many things popping in my head. I was like, okay, I don't like this.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But when you take, like, if you can get all of your pieces of everything, like, okay, we've got the Facebook group, that's a piece. And we've got the membership site, that's a piece. And then we've got like free content somewhere, that's a piece. And then putting it all into a funnel to where you're leading them through the free stuff, free content, all the way down to the paid. And then also based on like kind of where they're at with everything. So it might be like you might have a funnel for each, maybe those 4 people, you know, like you
Yes.
talked about before.
Yes.
The 4 groups.
Yeah, we'll have
like
different funnels
for each one of those groups. And then your content plugs into that funnel for that particular, yeah.
Yes, that's right. And we're planning on doing retreats, you know, for the future, retreats and mastermind events that are going to bring like a real experience for women, as we try to do that. And I think that we're successful with the Real Estate Investor Summit, that it had our stamp on it, and we want to have all our future events the same thing. So it's a lot to handle, to say the least. So we really need that, not just for the membership, but for other things that are coming up on the pipeline. We have a book coming up in September too, so that's also something that we need help with.
Yeah, launching that too.
Yes.
So I think and I know we'll definitely talk more about this
yes,
because I'm so into it. But I think just for now, I think the biggest takeaway I can give you is like really finding that right person to manage all that for you, and then coming up with like the ideal positional agreement for that person, and detailing out like all the things that you want them to do, you know, just like we would in any other thing. And actually, I have a marketing director that I can share with you, like a positional agreement that just kind of lays out what I was using them for. You'd have to tweak it to what you need, but
like a scope of work, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just like, okay, I'm going to hire you. Here are all the things that I need you to be able to do for me. So just like brainstorm with Liz, like all the stuff that you like, you don't want to post content, you know, but that person will need to. So it's like, write that out, you know. Do you want them to create content for you? Do you need them to do videos? Do they need to edit videos? Do they need to edit podcasts? Do they need to, you know, create an ebook, a webinar, like whatever it is that you need, like detail those things out. And that'll kind of help you find the right person that you can make sure that they actually have the skills and the ability to do what you need to help grow and get the message out there.
That's great. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too. I'll be following up too. That's one of the things too. I want to follow up too and just kind of report back, like, what happened? You know, did you find somebody? Did you launch? How did it go? Like, I think
that's awesome. I'm super excited, like years from now, that we look back and say, oh my gosh, remember that?
Yeah, it's always like that, right? It's something that's so, when you're in it, it's so freaking hard sometimes just to like be in that moment, and you're like stressed out and
years from now we're going to be like, yeah, now we have this 20,000 conference. We have people coming over, flying over from different places, and the logistic goes nuts, you know, because we see it in our horizon. That's where we're going. We're starting with 200 virtual people. Then the next one, we're going to have a bunch of people coming in person, and we see it, the full conference full of women really feeling empowered and energetic. So I want to deal with that problem, with the problem, not problems, right? The challenges they're going to come with those things, and the challenges that we're going to face with our membership when we grow to, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we give our all to people so they feel empowered.
Right. Y'all are great servants of the ladies. I know I appreciate y'all and everything that you guys do. I mean, it's been just great knowing you guys and just being able to help out and stuff where I can with other women. And the women that have joined the San Antonio group, like they didn't even know about, but they knew because I was a part of it and was talking about it and was able to share with them. They're like, oh my God, this is so cool. There's a whole other community out here. I didn't know.
Yeah, they feel very surprised. It's just like open up a door saying, oh my gosh, there's more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think a lot of them thought it was like just San Antonio. I'm like, no, this is a nationwide thing. You know, they're creating a huge movement here. So it's
so funny. Sometimes people come from meetups, they have no idea about the podcast. or come from the podcast have no idea about the meetups. So that's why we try to integrate. And I think that it's all about, as you said here, telling the story.
Right.
About as a holistic way.
And then having that whole, like, when you find this person that can manage that for you, like, they're going to manage your brand for you. So they're going to have all the pieces, like the podcast and the Facebook group, and they're going to be able to tie all those things together for you so that people know it's not, like you said, because we had this problem too with our software company. It's like people knew we did websites, but they didn't know that we had a CRM system, you know? And so it's like teaching people, like, no, we have all of these products, all this stuff to offer for you, you know? And it's just, you know, like you're hitting some people with some of the stuff, but then they're missing other pieces. And so I think having a dedicated person that can manage that stuff for you, and it might start out with one person, but I could see it probably quickly growing into a small team, because you want to have like a director, a marketing director, so they come up with like your overall plan, like your vision, you know, what do you want to accomplish here, who do you want to reach, that sort of thing. And then you've got like the implementer people, you know, like the marketing, I forget what we called them in our organization, but you know, just like the tasky person. So the person's actually editing stuff, they're actually posting, like that kind of stuff. So you want somebody that can help you craft the vision, but then somebody to actually execute everything too.
We might have to create the Real Estate Investor HQ with our teams. You'll be awesome. You'll be awesome. You're gonna, like, you know, roller skate in between. We're gonna have space where the moms can bring their kids, dogs, everything.
Awesome. You said roller skate. I want to be part of that.
Yes, right? Because I like when I can roller skate through things, including my house, my office. I want to roller skate. Yes, you heard me right. Roller skate.
Hey, I'm down with that. I roller skate in my house.
Nice. Oh my gosh. There you go.
I do. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for right now, but thank you for coming on. Do you want to tell people how they can find you real quick?
Yes. Thank you so much for this conversation. It's been super, super helpful, and I like a lot of aha moments coming out here. So people can find us on Instagram at The Real Estate Invest, HER at the end, or our website, therealestateinvestor.com. Our podcast is The Real Estate Investor Show, where you can find on iTunes and any other channel that tells you about podcasts. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us about what you're doing and where you're looking to go. And I'm excited to be a part of and watch the journey.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.